everyone, Amanda here from scrimpingmommy.co.uk. Today I'm going to make a bit of a different card, and we're going to combine two passions, my Stampin' Up with my passion for vintage. I love making anything vintage or shabby chic, and I do love to create journals. So this may well end up in one of my journals. And this is a new set to me. I've bought it for myself, not just to demonstrate. I absolutely love this set, and I thought it would be perfect for my journaling. And it's called Dear Doily. And you've got these beautiful Doily stamps, you've got some pretty sentiments, we've got this beautiful floral flourish here, and there is a die set to go with it. I did buy them as a bundle, and this is 9-piece and the stamps are 10-piece, and it was for the dies more than anything, this beautiful set. So what you can do is, this die here will cut into the cardstock and inlay that in the card. You know, not cut it out as a full piece, but that would be inlaid in your card. If you wanted it cutting out as a doily shape, you'd then add this edging piece, which will then cut it out completely. And I've cut one here out of vellum, okay? But if you leave that edge piece, then it would cut that shape in your card and it would stay in your card. And then we've got this lovely shape, which I have cut one here for my card, and it's like a frame. It's beautiful. And now you can add that doily inside at the same time as cutting, so that you've got a doily shape, or you can cut that separate. We've got little bows, we've got a decorative edge, there's all sorts. It's a 9-piece set. Okay, so I'm using that. I'm just going to move those to one side. I'll put them there. And I've also just embossed a piece of crumb cake using this embossing folder. Now it's a textured impressions and it's called corrugated. It's thicker than normal embossing folders, so you have to adjust your layer, your sandwich, and when you're running it through your die cutting machine, run it that way with the word Sizzix facing up. If you put it in sideways, it seems to cut, almost cut your card. But if you do it that way, you get this lovely corrugated. So you're never looking for corrugated card. You've always got it, and they're very inexpensive. So I've pre-done that. So let's start and build our card. First of all, I'm going to do the bit of stamping. So I'm going to do this beautiful flourish. I have mounted it here on a stamp. Now I want it two colours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Stampin' Right markers, and here I've got I think it's Purpose. Oh, it's Old Olive and Highland Heather, because I'm thinking this will make, what they call it, lavender. I couldn't think of a name then. So you use the fat brush tip end and you just draw on where you want the green bit to be, and this is how you get your, or you can use your finger daubers. And this is how you get, the double colours in the one stamp, by just adding them on separately. Like I say, you can use the little finger dauber things as well, but with this being like quite delicate, I just find it easier to use my marker pens. So that's that one. And then this one is Highland Heather. These are awesome because, as you can see, you can stamp with them. So the Stampin' Right markers are well worth purchasing for things like this. And I mean, you could have these flower heads any colour you wanted to, just change the colour to match whatever your colour scheme on your card is. Just very gently add that. Okay. And then what you do is you huff on it like that, like you're cleaning your glasses or your mirror, and you huff on it like that. And what that does is it just adds a little bit of condensation to that stamp, which activates the ink, which is water-based, makes it nice and juicy for you. So then you stamp that on your cardstock, and you've got that beautiful, beautiful image. If I just zoom in a minute, look at that, isn't it gorgeous? It's absolutely stunning, I love it. Now I have already stamped one, and here is the framelit. So you put the framelit around it very carefully in your die cut machine. You can add a bit of washi tape, whatever, and it very nicely cuts it out. Okay, so I'll just bob that to one side so I don't lose it. So I have two cut out now, and I don't quite know how I'm going to use them on my card, so I will go cut that out later, or you can even use that as the background to a card. If I turn that into a card now, I'll probably use that. How lovely is that? You know, or you know, if you like me and you like to make journals and things like that, you could turn that into note cards or a tag or a flip book or anything. That is a lovely image on its own. Right, so I'll stop waffling, Amanda, and get on with making your card. So we've got a piece, and I'm using Very Vanilla, which is beautiful, and this is thick Very Vanilla, and this started life at is it 11 3/4 by 4 1/8, scored at 5 7/8 in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to start and build up my layers now. So I'm going to have some of this, I think I'm just going to have some of this corrugated on here, but I also quite like some of these papers, which are, I might have that on after, which are from the Floral Romance suite, and that one looks like wood, and then these are the speciality vellums, so let's have a look. Alright, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to add some of this corrugated, and I'm going to rip it, because this is going to be a vintage card. Might be a long video for a card, but it's a bit of a special card. It might even end up being the front cover of one of my journals yet. We'll see. I might transfer it from being a card to being part of a journal. So I'm just roughly looking whereabouts I want. So it's like, it's random but selective. Selectively random. You can have both. Can have what you want. Okay. Alright, so that's on there. I don't really like that, it's a bit pointy, so I'm just going to take that off. Alright, and I am bringing in a contraband, and this is a distress ink. And I'm just going to ink the edges of that. I have no problem mixing and matching my crafty stash. Just don't ask me where about it. Come now, let's tell ya. Okay, that's that. And I think I'm just going to just take some of that off because I don't want it too dark. And just flick the edges of my card there. Just to give me that vintage dreamer inked look, which I absolutely just love. I love it. Okay. You could do that with Stampin' Up! Inks, they're just the same. It's all the same stuff, and I would use probably soft suede or crumb cake. So I'm going to adhere that on there first. Okay. I'm not using that glue. I'm saving it. I'm going to use my Tombow. Plenty on. So I want that to be nicely adhered. Okay, I'll just lift that out. Flatten that on there like so. Give it a press, but obviously try not to completely and utterly iron out those lines that you've nicely embossed. Beautiful. I might add a little bit more. Just a little bit more ink there, just to take some of that starkness off. There we go, that'll do for me. Right, so now what I'm going to do, I might have some of this. I think it's super pretty. Is that going to show? Or shall I have... There's a green one, isn't there? Shall I have green? I haven't decided. This is as far as I've got. You might have noticed I've not got any further. Or shall I just have wood? Not sure. Might have outlot. I might have outlot yet. What does that look like on there? Right, okay. So, let's have some of this ripped up as well. About there to about there. It's only paper. Right, let's have a look. Right. Bit more ripping. And then I'm going to show you what's going to be my focal image. It's not actually a stamp. As I say, I'm mixing and matching my two passions, which are Stampin' Up and Vintage. So I'm going to actually be adding a vintage image onto my card today, which is a little bit of something different. Like that. Link that up, and we'll get that on. Speed it up a bit. We don't need to think too much when we're doing a bit of a vintage feel. You can just rip it and go. Right, let's have a look at this vellum. Should we have some of that? Is it necessary? Well, let's just have some anyway. The more layers can only look nice, can't it? And yeah, you can just rip your vellum. Again, it's only paper. It's not gold. Get it used. Get layering and playing with the papers. We don't have to just cut everything in a straight line on our trimmers. There's so much more you can do. Okay, but we don't want straight edges. Straight edges can be very boring. Let's have some fun with it. Okay. And these ripped up bits I'll save. Okay, there we go. That's pretty, isn't it? I like that. So I'm just going to, how am I going to attach this? Now let me see. I'm just going to add a tiny dot of glue there. And if you just press it, it'll spread out and you'll hardly notice it. Just less is more. Spread it and you won't notice it. There we go, that's held on now. Just two tiny dabs of glue. So let me show you what I'm going to use. I'm going to use a digital image, and I will say that I have got these from Artie Mays. She hasn't paid me to say that. I just love them. So I'm going to use this little girl here with the little pink bow in her hair, because I think it'll just match up with the pink on there. And I've just printed them out on some cardstock. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all with that is I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to need to just tack down that little bit of vellum there as well. It's peeking up. Just give it a press, spread that glue, and then you'll hardly see it. Same there. Okay. Oh, that's not stuck. Bit more. There we go. So I'm just going to just dress up the edges of this. I'm using the edge of my scissors. I love it. It's very satisfying feeling, just dressing the edge of that. Now if I had time I might, you know, add some sewn elements with my sewing machine. I don't really have time to be getting my sewing machine out this morning. My desks are littered with projects and stuff that I'm ongoing with, so I don't have time. I'm just going to ruche it up a little bit. Okay, and then I've got these die cuts from the set, like I say. So let's see what we're going to use. I think I will just add that Doily. Will it show? What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the Doily in half, and I'm just going to add Tombow on one of the thicker parts there, and I'm going to make sure that it protrudes out the edge there. Okay, and that one there, and that one there. So it's sticking out of the edge, and then I'll put my image over the top like so in a minute. Do I want that on as well? I think I do. So I'm going to do the same here, and I'm going to cut that one out. And I'm just going to very carefully add tiny dots of glue. If I can just get my glue flowing right. Tiny dots of glue. Come on. I think this Tombo's running out. Tiny dot there, and there, and there. And I'm going to add that as another layer on top of that first one. Okay. And then when I add the other elements, it will help hold it all down in place, so I'm not worried. Tiny dots of glue. Come on. Don't want to flow today, this ink. I've got the central heating on, and I think it can dry up the tips of your glue very quickly. Let me just smudge that a bit. Okay. And add that to the outer edge of that there. Give it a press and just give it a chance to dry a minute. Okay. Another thing that you can do with your vellum, if it doesn't want to stick, is add some glue dots, things like that. Just give all that a minute to dry. There we go, that's drying nicely. So now I can add my image. I'm going to, I think I might add her with some dimensionals. I think that'll look pretty. Maybe, or maybe it's dimensional enough. No, I don't think I will. No, I will. I'll add her with some dimensionals. Why not? So I've got my little image here. I'm in my absolute element doing vintage and shabby chic. I just love it. Like I say, when I can incorporate it with my lovely Stampin' Up products, I'm even happier. I'm going to actually put that straight. I'm going to put her quite straight, which is quite weird. I've got this lovely piece here. I might just slip under there, like that. What I'm going to do, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to slip it under there, but I'm going to just snip it. Let's have a look. Snip it a little bit at each end, so it's like a layer of lace almost underneath that image. Okay. A little bit of glue. It'll take that long. Slide that under there because I've already put her on dimensionals. If I just press that, that glue will dry clear, so you won't be able to see it when it's dry. And that just adds another tiny layer there. And then I've got my lovely flowers. So let's see where we're going to put these. We could have, if I'd have done mirror image stamping, I could have done one at each side. So let me just think, what can I do? I could go like that. Couldn't I? I could, but I don't really like it like that. Let me think. I wish I'd done mirror image stamping, then I could have had one going that way and one going the other way, but I didn't think that far ahead, I don't think. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have one there, and then one there, so we've got like two together. Yep, that's what we're going to do, but I'm going to snip this one shorter, so I'm just going to snip it at that bottom leaf there. Alright, lift that one up a bit, and we'll get it all attached with a little bit of Tombow. So I'll have that one going right up to the top of my image there, and then this one is going to be just a little bit lower down, a little bit too much glue on there, we don't want that much. Just get a little bit off. So that I've got like 2 in a layer, like so. And then just to finish it off, I did cut a little bow. Let's have that on there. And then I do have some little tiny weeny buttons, which are, put that bow there. And that pink there, look, matches, brings out the pink in her hair, the vellum does as well. I have got these tiny little buttons, which are from the Needle Nook Suite. And what I might do is just use, if I can get this one flowing, let's have a look. Okay, so I've got my fine tip glue pen there. I'm just going to put a very tiny amount of glue there. And I'm going to have to leave that to set and dry. And put that tiny button there in the middle. I'm not even going to try it. It would be nice with some twine tied between the 2 holes. My sausage fingers won't be able to cope with that. No chance. And I think I'll leave it at that. And I think that is absolutely lovely. I hope you enjoyed that with my herb staging shot. I've just realised I'm very close to the edge there. And that may very well end up on the front of one of my journals, or I might just send it to a crafty friend, who knows. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that it helps you realise that you can incorporate Stampin' Up! Products with any style of crafting. Whatever you love, there is something for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.